Thank you for joining us today. Last week we discussed how we are made in the image of God more than any other creature, but we don't know why we were created or what we are created for. I highly encourage you, if you haven't, to go back and view the first two sessions of this podcast as we get ready to kind of start bringing it all into focus here. So man, who was made to be a mirror to reflect God's deity, now reflects his own sinfulness. I mentioned about man sulking in his cave last week, and sulking in his cave while the silent stars tell their story. Man, except for his swearing, his boasting, his threatening, his cursing, and all the nervous and ill-conceived laughter and songs without joy, man is silent before the universe. Now change the figure from a mirror to a harp. God has put in man a harp bigger than anything else, and he meant that harp to be tuned to himself. However, when man sinned and fell in this tragic and terrible thing we call the fall of man, man threw that harp down into the mud, and now it's full of silt and sand, and the strings are broken. The mightiest disaster ever known in the world was the soul of man, which is more like God than anything and more fitted to God's sweet music than all other creatures. With the light gone from his mind and the love gone from his heart, stumbling through a dark world to find himself a grave. From God's point of view, man needed redemption. Well, what is the purpose of redemption? Redemption is to restore us back to God again, to restring that harp, to purge it, to cleanse it, to refurbish it by the grace of God and the blood of the Lamb. I have wonderful news for you. God, who made us like that, didn't give up on us. He didn't tell the angels, write them off, block them from my memory. No, instead he said, I still want that mirror to shine in which I can look and see my glory. I still want to be admired in my people. I still want a people to enjoy me and to love me forever. And out of this insatiable passion, God sent his only begotten Son, and he became incarnate in the form of a man. And when he walked the earth, he was the reflected glory of God. God finally had his man. Hebrews chapter 1, verse 3 puts it like this. It says, the Son radiates God's own glory and expresses the very character of God. When God looked at Mary's son, he saw himself reflected. In John 14:11, here's what Jesus said. He said, just believe that I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Or at least believe because of the work that you have seen me do. What did Jesus mean when he said, I'm in the Father and the Father is in me? Well, in John 17:4, Jesus said, I brought glory to you here on earth by completing the work you gave me to do. And right there, God glorified himself in his Son. And that Son went out to die, and all that glory was marred more than any man, and his features more than the Son of Man. They pulled out his beard, they bruised his face, they tore out his hair, and made lumps on his forehead. Then they nailed him on that cross, where for 6 hours he sweated, twisted, and groaned, and finally gave up the ghost. The bells rang in heaven, though, because man had been redeemed now. On the third day, he arose from the dead, and now he is at God's right hand, and God is busy redeeming the people back to him again, back to the original purpose, to be mirrors reflecting God's glory. I hope to explain what worship is and point out how tragically low it is among churches. I hope to define worship and explain how we can recapture it for our generation as well as the generations to come. Worship, simply put, is the way of thanking God for all He has done and all He will do for each and every one of us. Join in next time as we conclude this podcast on searching for our lost identity.